do that. Say, say hi to Buddy. Hi, guys. Oh gosh! Okay, don't let him down. Let me.
Hi guys, it's Laina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a back to school Q&A/advice video, answering your questions, also giving you guys some of my personal insight and advice on some of these different situations you guys asked about with diabetes in school. I got a lot of questions about diabetes in school, different situations, then how I deal with them basically. So I'm going to be giving you my advice on those. And if you weren't able to participate and ask any questions for this video, it's probably because you don't follow me on Instagram. So go check out my Instagram. It's just laina.elyse. Then you can participate in polls, giving me video ideas, Instagram lives, things like that you don't want to miss out on in the future. So go ahead and follow me over there. This first one says, where do you store all of your things for when you have hypos at school, and how do you organize your ... So I'm assuming it says diabetes supplies. I don't know how to extend it to see the whole response. So where do I store my things for hypos at school? I usually carry snacks around in my little Vera Bradley purse that you guys have seen all over my channel. I just keep a few snacks in there, and then also the nurse will have some in her office as well if I happen to not have any with me. And how do I organize my supplies? I carry my supplies around in my purse like I normally would on a normal, regular day. Even in the summer, I carry around that purse. And then also this year, I'm going to put some extra supplies in my locker, because last year I had some bad experiences with when my Omnipod would fail. I'd have to come all the way home to change it. This year, I'm going to put an extra pod and site change everything I need in my locker. That way, I don't have to drive all the way back home and miss out as much on class and stuff. How do you deal with hypoglycemia in school? So I am very fortunate enough to have a Dexcom, and I really think this helps me out so much, especially at school, because if you're focused on other things, you aren't really paying attention to how you feel and if your blood sugar is high or low. So it's really nice to have that. And then also I have an Apple Watch where I can just flip my wrist and see what my number is right there. So if it's low, I can just ask the teacher if I could go to the nurse, and I'll go in there, check my blood sugar sometimes, or I'll just go off the Dexcom, depending on what the reading is, if it's going down super fast or what it's doing, how low it is, stuff like that. And then I will just eat a snack and treat my low blood sugar, and then I'll go back to class. So what will you keep in your bag for school? So usually in my bag, I keep my Omnipod PDM, my test strips, what is that thing called? My lancing device. I don't know what it's called. Then I have my keys to get into my house, my glucagon, glucose tablets. Then I carry some granola bars and snacks. I have a medical ID card in there that says I have diabetes. I carry my phone, and that's what I carry with me at all times. And then in my locker, like I said, I'm gonna keep some extra stuff in there this year. Do you have snacks during the day at school? We do not have necessarily snacks at school if I'm low, or I do not eat snacks at school. The only time I ever eat snacks is if I am low. So we don't have like a snack time like they do in grade school, you know? I don't know if that's what you meant. I probably sound really dumb right now, but no, I don't have, the only time I have snacks during the day at school is if my blood sugar is low. Do you usually have a good breakfast or just a snack before school? Usually I will have a very good protein-filled breakfast, because it's like I eat breakfast around 6:30, and then I have to go, last year I had to go all the way until 12:30. That's 6 hours without eating again, unless my blood sugar goes low. So I have to eat pretty good breakfast in order to not be starved to death by lunchtime. So usually I'll have like scrambled eggs, toast, yogurt, fruit, things like that. How do you be discreet about your diabetes at school? So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily discreet about it. I just am pretty open about it now. Whenever I was in 6th grade, when I was first diagnosed, no one except like my best friend and my teacher knew that I had diabetes, because I was I wouldn't say I was embarrassed, I just wasn't open about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want people to know for some reason. I guess because I was afraid of what people would think of me. So I'm definitely more open about it now. I'm not discreet, but if you want to be discreet, you could wear your Dexcom or pump on your stomach or lower back where people can't see it as much, or it wouldn't be as obvious that you have diabetes, I guess. But I wouldn't be discreet about it. I would be open about it, and if people ask questions, just answer them, because I don't know, that's just what I think about that. How do you deal with Dex and pump alarms, and if they rip off, what do you do? With Dexcom, I put my low alarm on vibrate, so the only time it would ever go off is if my blood sugar is below 55, and I just have that one on the one beep, I think, so it just goes beep, and then it's done. So usually by the time if my blood sugar is 55, I'll already be in the nurse's office, so it's not a big deal if it goes off. But if it has gone off in just normal class before, and people did look at me, but it was fine. I was just like, oh, whose phone was that? I don't know. And then my pump alarm, that has gone off before too. And what I did was I just got on the PDM, hurried up and turned the alert off, whatever it happened to be, and just went on with my day, because people will freak out. They'll think it's your phone. Look at all around the classroom trying to figure out whose phone is going off, and then eventually they'll just forget about it. And they've never ripped off before. During school, I guess. It has ripped off during the summer on vacation and stuff, but never during school. How do you stay organized at school? So if you mean diabetes supplies, I keep them in my purse, and if you just mean in general, not diabetes related, I'm just pretty organized, I would say. That's just how I've always been. But with my papers last year, everything, I had my notebooks and my folders were all like the same color for each class. So say like, I remember last year my science notebook was purple, and then my folder for science was purple as well. I don't know if that's what you mean by organized, but I just try to keep things clean and tidy. That way it doesn't get a mess out of control. That way I can keep track of everything in my papers. I also write in a planner. That helps me stay so organized. I know people think it's really lame that I write in a planner, but I'm kind of obsessed with writing in planners, and I literally write in a planner over the summertime. So I know people can say it's lame at school, whatever, I don't care, but I like writing in a planner. Were you always nervous approaching your teachers about your diabetes, and how did you gain confidence to? Definitely, I was nervous about approaching them if my blood sugar was low. There's certain teachers I became more comfortable clearly around, and I was just like, didn't feel nervous around them at all asking to go to the nurse or anything. But then there were a few where it was like a little bit awkward, where I didn't really want to do it. How did you gain confidence to? I just realized that, hey, you don't really have a choice. You kind of gotta go eat a snack, or else the situation is gonna be way worse. So it's easier to just ask them, or you could sit there, and if you pass out, then you got way, way bigger problems to deal with. So it's just easier to ask them and go. That's how I think of it. What are your biggest tips to remain confident at school with your diabetes and showing your pump off? My biggest tips to remain confident is to realize there's nothing to be ashamed of at all. I honestly think the reason why diabetics get embarrassed is because of the stereotypes and what people think diabetes is, when they know in the back of their mind that is not even true. So I don't know why we let it get to us so much, but I just realized there is nothing to be ashamed of, and it's honestly kind of cool with all the new technology, devices, everything, and it's cool explaining to people, and if they wonder about it, it's nice to know that they care enough to ask you questions. Going along with showing off my pump, I just eventually gained confidence to do it. In 6th grade and the beginning of 7th grade, I didn't really show anything, my Dexcom or my pump, and by the end of the 7th grade year, I'd literally wear my Dexcom one arm, my pump on the other arm, and I was fine with it. I didn't care because it was comfortable for me to wear it like that, so I didn't care if other people stared at it, whatever. They can do whatever they want. Tips how to study, how you study, or study routine. Studying, when it comes to tests and everything, I totally recommend the app or the website Quizlet. You can get the app on your phone or just go to the website. It's literally a lifesaver. You can make like flashcards. We don't really do spelling anymore, but if you are in grade school, you want to do spelling, you can learn how to spell the words on there. Then it also will make a quiz, a multiple choice, or where you have to type it in, true or false, matching questions. They have some little mini games. This is not sponsored, I just love this app, and it's really awesome to study. I study on there, and then you can also, if you get the app, you can study like on the drive to school. So it's just a little refresher right before you go take the test. How do you handle giving insulin, treating a low in the middle of school? So giving insulin, I will go to the nurse's office like before lunch. The only time I will typically give insulin during a school day is before lunch. So I will go to the nurse's office because she likes me to log my blood sugar, how much insulin I'm taking for lunch. So I'll just go in there and do it. It's not a big deal at all because no one else is in there besides some of my friends that go with me in there. And then treating a low in the middle of school, I think I might have said this earlier in the video, but basically I'll just tell the teacher, hey, or ask the teacher, hey, can I go to the nurse? My blood sugar is low. I need to get a snack. And they always say yes because they kind of have to say yes, you know? So I go down there and just get my snack, eat it real quick, and go back to class. Does the nurse help with your T1D? So I was diagnosed in 6th grade. By then, I feel like you're old enough to handle your diabetes, or you're like kind of more responsible. Like if I was in 2nd grade or something, clearly I would need more help. But in 6th grade, I was pretty mature, responsible. So the nurse really did not have to help me that much, but she was there, and clearly if I needed help, she would have helped me, and now I can do everything on my own, so I don't really need help, but I know that if I were to ever need help, she would be there to help me. What is the best way to study? Like I said earlier, I would totally recommend Quizlet. It's literally a lifesaver, and instead of writing out whatever you're studying on flashcards, I feel like it's faster on Quizlet. And then also, just by typing it out, I feel like is a way of helping you to study and memorize some of the stuff because you're typing it, reading it, everything like that. So even if it does take a while for you to type up all of the stuff onto the website, it's still so beneficial because there's so many different tools on there that you can use to help you study after you create the flashcards. And another cool thing about that is you can make classes, folders, and you can share your sets. So if someone's in the same class as you, they want to use your set to study for it, you can share it with them, and then they can study on it as well. So you could take turns like making them. So one time for this test, your friend could make it, the next time you could make it. That way it saves you a little bit of time in the long run. What do you do if the pump fail alarm goes off in a class or an exam? So if you want a representation of what I do, let's pretend this is my pump just so you guys can see it better. My pump's on my leg right now, so it'd be a little hard to show you. So if this happened a few times last year, if my pump fails, I have the Omnipod, and it makes a loud beep. It just goes beep, and it doesn't stop. It just is a steady beep, continuous beep, I guess. And so right when it goes off, literally, I'll just cover it, and then it makes it so much quieter, and then I'll get onto the PDM, and then it fails. Last year, I've said this already a few times in the video, but last year I had to come home and change it. This year I'm gonna keep extra supplies. I would highly recommend keeping extra supplies. It's just less of a hassle. That way you don't have to come home. Do you keep extra supplies or insulin on you at the nurse's office? So I typically will keep one insulin pen in the fridge in the nurse's office, and then I'm going to start keeping supplies at school this year. I want to start showing my pump on my skirt. I've never told people I'm diabetic. I would just say, just go for it and don't think too much about it. Just do it, and it's natural. People are gonna wonder what it is and want to ask questions, and that's totally fine because they're just probably curious about what it is. Maybe they haven't ever seen one before or something. Just explain to them. And I realized the first few weeks that I wore my Dexcom or pump out in the open where people could see it, like on my arm, people would ask questions, but after the first few weeks, really no one asks about it anymore. So after just the first few times of wearing it out, people will get used to it, and you don't really have to worry about it too much anymore. As a type 1 diabetic, where do you put your sensor or Dexcom for school? Love your videos. Thank you so much. And I put my Dexcom, I have a rotation, so my Dexcom goes arms, lower back, stomach, and those are all the places I do. Right now it's on my arm. What is the most awkward thing that has happened to you at school because of type 1 diabetes? Love you. I love you too. And the most awkward thing, I guess when people make jokes about it, it's kind of awkward because I'm just like, are you for real right now? Are you that immature? You have to make jokes that aren't even facts. they're like totally false information. That's kind of awkward when that happens. Diabetes essentials to keep in your locker. I'm not the one to ask for this, but this year I'm gonna keep an extra pump site, everything I need to change that. I'm gonna keep extra snacks. And then all of the other essentials I carry around in a purse with me at all times. How do you deal with type 1 at school? Do you get made fun of? I do not get made fun of, luckily. I do hear jokes about diabetes, but no one makes fun of me personally. I just go about it as I would at home. I don't try to change the way I manage my diabetes just because I'm at school, because I want to be as healthy as I possibly can, and I'm not gonna let a few immature people ruin my health in the long run. And the last one I kind of already answered, but it says, do you have a personal nurse at school or do you self-care? We do have a school nurse, but she is typically not there because she has to go to the other schools in our district while I'm in there bolusing for lunch. So she is there at the school, and she does help me every once in a while when I need help, but usually I just do everything on my own. Alrighty, so those are all the questions. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got some good advice for back to school. Comment down below when you go back. I'm curious to know. I go back August 20th, and I'm honestly kind of excited. I'm weird, but I kind of want to go back because it's something to do. I like getting up, having a routine schedule, going to school, so I think it's kind of fun, but that's just me. I'm weird, as you guys know. But thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. The diagnosis story is coming. Your girl is working on it, and I will see you next time. Bye.